Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler for Melda Production, and today I'm going to show you how I used Melda plugins to complete the latest song I did, and this is the 2023 AI song. I explained what I did before in a previous video. I used AI for the lyrics, and then basically created the song. I wanted to create kind of like a 90s pop rock type thing, and so I came up with the idea, came up with the chords, and then just kind of fleshed it out and using a bunch of instruments. It took me longer than I thought. I sometimes had to go back and redo things, but this is what I have. So I came up with the chords, and then I came up with this kind of guitar riff for the intro, like this. Okay, so we have that. And for this one, I thought I used just a preset for this, but it looks like I made something custom here. So basically what I'm using is the Tulsa amp here, and I have this nitrogen cabinet just going into a spring reverb. It's really basic. I just wanted something kind of a classic stringy sound. I think I probably used like the uh, second position on my guitar for the pickups. But I just wanted something nice and I don't know, light, I guess, for this. And after that, I'm going into the room reverb. So I have this room reverb bus here with just M turbo reverb with, of course, the wet signal all the way up. And I'm using this booth here. And I'm using this on lots of different tracks. So after that, it goes in here. Let's listen to it and I'll let you hear the drums.
Summer's on a year of cracks and seams, a patchwork quilt of hopes and dreams.
So of course, I'm using M drummer for this. And I use the rhythm generator to come up with this. It's kind of like a swinging type beat. I think this one sounds like this. Like that. It's really basic, but I think it just has nice groove to it. So that's what I did. Go in here a little bit. I think I just used a preset in here. I don't think I did too much specifically to any of the drums here. It's really basic. I think I have, yeah, master glue on here. But even though I didn't do too much, I think it still sounds good. And afterwards, I put M Auto Dynamic EQ here just to boost and cut some frequencies. You see here, I'm using some of the dynamic features to cut some of this because this range I think gets a little bit muddy, so I wanted to cut it from the drums. I don't think it's really taking away too much, especially when the toms start hitting, that can get really muddy. So there's that. Let's listen to the bass here.
Summer's on a year of
Okay, and for this I kind of used my own custom Shan's bass here that I made. It's very similar to the one that's in there. I just did some changes to it. So this is the one I'm using here. If people really like it, I might release it to other people. Not quite done yet though. After that, it's going into M Guitar Architect. This is just the Mix Ready Scoop preset. Where is it? Yeah, is it here? Yeah, in bass. I just put this on. I didn't make this one, but it sounded good to me, so I just put it on there and sounded nice. So after that, it just goes into M Dynamics. I used a multi-band compressor. I found when doing this, the multi-band compressors actually do lots of good stuff. So I can compress different bands and it just kind of changes the frequency spectrum to something I like a bit more. So that's all I did for that. And then I had the piano down here.
summer's on a year of cracks and seams.
So you can see that I just used the Meldway Grand. Nothing much there. I think he's a preset. I'm using this one preset for M Turbo Comp. I probably adjusted the compression amount so it's not doing too much. A little bit less than 5. Kind of a lot, but it's not crazy. And then I have M Turbo EQ. And I just did this to cut some of the low end here under 400. I brought that down a little bit. At 500, I brought that down. At this one, basically what I was trying to do is I want to get rid of some of the low mids. I want to get rid of some of the high mids just so it doesn't clash with the vocals or the guitars. And just kind of tuck it in the background a little bit. So that's all I was doing. And then I went straight into the room reverb. I did that for the drums too, even though I didn't mention it. I think there are any other. I'll try to go over the different instruments before I get to the vocals. I think that's what probably people want me to go over. Although I think those don't sound as good as I'd like, but whatever. So we have that. We have that. In this part, I have acoustic guitars in the chorus. So these, I didn't even use an acoustic guitar because my acoustic guitar pickup's broken. So I took an electric guitar and I used these presets, the faux acoustic guitar here, this. So that's all I did there. And then I'm going into M Turbo Comp. These really need it. And then after that, M Auto Dynamic EQ, just cut down some low end. I want these to not muddy up. I was really worried about muddying up the low end. So lots of these, you notice I'm using high pass filters or shelf filters or even cutting out the mids. So that's what I did there. The other thing I have going on in the chorus is the distorted guitars here. So these also, it's not so good by itself. I used M Turbo EQ, and what I did was cut off a lot of the low end and a lot of the high end because, again, I wanted to kind of tuck these in the background, so I didn't want these really getting in the way. And at 800, I found like it's a frequency I didn't really like. For these, I kind of did something interesting. To first one, so this is the high end. So that's the low end. So on the first one, I'm playing just higher chords that are distorted, and I'm using a little bit less distortion, I believe. Yeah, I'm using the Apollo amp, but that's actually kind of a lot, but still. And then on this one, did I use the same settings? Maybe I did, actually. Yeah. So basically, I separated the lows and the highs, so it sounds, I think it sounds bigger if you do it that way. And you don't have to worry about as much like mess with the frequencies clashing. I probably should have used a little bit less gain on the first guitar, but that's okay. And I'm trying to think, is there any other stuff? Maybe that's it for the rhythm section. Another thing I should mention is I grouped all the rhythm section together, and you might be wondering, like, why'd you put all those together? The reason I did is because I wanted to take this first one, M spectral delay or M spectral dynamics here. And what I'm doing is I'm side chaining the vocals and the lead guitar here. So when that plays, it's going to duck the whole rhythm section at those frequencies, like this. So that way I'm moving all of my rhythm section instruments like drums, bass, guitars out of the way, but not the whole thing. I don't want complete ducking. I just want some of the frequencies to just kind of slide down in volume while my vocals are playing. And I have also the guitar solos in there too. But the background vocals aren't doing that. Let's get into the background vocals. Here, I'll do the pre-chorus.
A memory made in every heart, a brighter shade, a bond of laughter, whispered tears.
So these I had to use, I told you I'm not a great singer, so I had to use Melda on this to get these harmonies tight. But then I use a double tracker, double tracker on these just to get it wider. I did that for all of these. And then I cut off a lot of the low end and just have this for de-essing here. If I don't do that, it's going to get really muddy. So that's what I did there. And then I have all three of these different vocals going into M Turbo Comp here. And then I have it going into M Saturator, MB. And what this does is just gives it a boost of air. I'll turn it on and off so you can hear.
This year, a memory made in every heart, a brighter shade, a bond of laughter, whispered tears, the strength that lies beyond our fears.
So as you can hear, that's really doing a lot. That makes it like quite a bit brighter. It's one of those things you kind of like overlook, but M Saturator can actually do a lot, especially with this bass and air device here. Finally, I'm just going into another M Auto Dynamic EQ to cut off even more low end. I really don't want these muddy. So that's what I did there. In the chorus, I have other vocals here. They're kind of similar. Get out of the way. I have too many tracks here.
2023. 2023.
And same thing, I have just vocal harmonies. I used M Double Tracker on all of these, just like I did the other ones. I have M Turbo Comp here. I have an 1176 going first.
2023.
That's to cut off the peaks. After that, I'm going in the MA2A to kind of
2023.
smooth it down a bit. Let's see. After that, I'm going into M Auto Dynamic EQ. I thought this needed a little boost at the upper mid, so I put that there, besides cutting down on the low end. And then finally, I got M Saturator working again.
2023. 2023.
You can hear that really brings out that treble frequency. There we go. That's the chorus vocals. I think that's about it for those. I guess I should get to the verse. Oh, I should also mention that all these are going into the room, but also I have a plate reverb as well here. I showed a little trick there. So yeah, I have the silver plate going to there. It's 100% wet, of course. These are the settings. But also in here, I believe in this part, I used the fourth node here to cut off some of the upper mids. You might be like, why did you do that? And it's like, I don't want those S sounds or high mid sounds to really be reverberating. So inside here, I can bring these down just for the reverb. This isn't going to affect the dry signal, but the reverbs, this will be cut. So that's one cool thing you can do inside M Turbo Reverb. So that's what I did. And also I cut off some of the low end, although I think that might be on the easy screen, but for this little part, I actually had to go inside the edit screen to do that. So that's why you want to buy the full version instead of the LE version. But just small tip, my opinion. Next thing, also have a delay here. Mention that before I move on. So I have M Turbo delay on the tape setting. I like this one. Actually, developed this one myself, but I really like the sound of this just because it's not so bright. Even here, you can see I even brought the lows and highs down a little bit more because I just want this to be in the mids and I want to be kind of sync in the background. I don't want this in your face like a really sharp digital delay or something. I want this to blend more into the background, which it does automatically, but if I bring the high end and low end down, it does it even more. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm trying to think if I did anything else with this, like the ducking, but maybe for here, I didn't use any ducking. Did I? No, I did. I used a lot of ducking. So here I have the ducking on. So while someone is singing, it's going to bring it down. But then when they stop singing or stop playing, those delays are going to come back up. So this has it built in here, so you don't need another plugin afterwards. Go. Let's move on to some of the last ones, which are the lead vocal. This actually, let's do the verse.
Summer's on a year of cracks and seams, a patchwork quilt of hopes and dreams, weary from the whirlwind's dance.
So I have lead vocal here. I have lots of stuff on here. I'm using M Dynamics here. I don't know why I used this one specifically. I could have used M Turbo Comp, but I decided to use this one. Kind of similar to 1176. I have a really fast attack, kind of medium release, and somewhat high ratio. Basically, what this is doing is just cutting all the small little peaks.
Sunrise on a year of cracks and seams, a patchwork quilt of hopes and dreams, weary from the whirlwind's dance, shadows edged with a cautious.
So as you can see here, it's doing a lot at some points. In some points, it's doing almost nothing. So this vocal is really uneven. So I needed to even this out. So I'm using this first to just catch the peaks. After I have that, I'm going into M Turbo Comp. This is the LA2A.
Sunrise on a year of cracks and seams, a patchwork quilt of hopes and dreams, weary from the whirlwind's dance.
This one's doing a little bit less, but it's just doing a little bit more to even it out. But this one has a much slower attack time. After that, I'm going into in saturator again.
Sunrise on a year of cracks and seams, a patchwork quilt of hopes and dreams, weary from the.
Yeah, so I found I really needed this. I don't do that many vocals, but doing them here, I was like, this actually helps a lot getting them bright enough, at least in my opinion. Next, I have M Dynamic EQ. I'm cutting off some more of the low end, some of this mid range, which I didn't really like, and then I have the de-esser here. I didn't really need to cut off this with the low pass, but I did for some reason. And then finally, I have M Auto Volume. Someone was asking me about this recently. What this is doing is just at the end of some words or some phrases, it's boosting them or cutting them, so it just sounds a little bit more even.
Sunrise on a year of cracks and seams, a patchwork quilt of hopes and dreams, weary from the whirlwind's dance, shadows edged with a cautious glance, a canvas painted pixel bright, the internet a guiding light, shadows danced and algorithms sway, truth a whisper lost in the fray.
So it's not doing too much, but I think when it's on and off, you can kind of hear that at the end of some of my words, like I can't really hear that last syllable or that last word. I can't hear it too well. But with this on, it kind of boosted just enough where everything is even. So that's why I'm using M auto volume on top of all the compression I'm already doing. So that's what I did there. And then it's going into room. And then I have this slap delay bus, which is just M delay MB. I have a really short delay here, 43 milliseconds here. I forgot what type of filter. Yeah, I'm using the parallel filter. So these aren't split by frequency. It's just two different delays. I have 42 milliseconds here with a slight delay on the right and left. This. And here I have 167 with a 15 millisecond left delay. And so this is just like two short stereo reverbs with no feedback, actually. Actually, this one has a little bit of feedback. Here, maybe I'll try to solo this so you can hear what it's doing.
Sunrise on a year of cracks and seams, a patchwork quilt of hopes and dreams, weary from the whirlwind's dance, shadows edged with a coat.
So you can see here, I'm doing a lot of low cuts and high cuts as well. I don't want this to come through too strong. It's just kind of like a little bit of air you have here. Put this back on for a second. Where is it? I have too much stuff.
Sunrise on a year of cracks and seams, a patchwork quilt of hopes and dreams, weary from the whirlwind's dance, shadows edged with a cautious glance, a canvas painted pixel bright, the internet a guiding light, shadows danced and algorithms sway, truth away.
So you can hear when it's off, it just sounds like the vocals right in your face, which I don't want that. So this just kind of pushes it back a little bit and gives it a little bit of space. So that's what I wanted. So there's that, and then in the chorus, let's listen to it.
23, we yearn to hear the unseen scars, where technology made us whole.
So I'm basically doing the same thing. I have M Auto Dynamic EQ here, cutting off some of the lows. Actually, before that, I have same thing as I showed you with the verse stuff here. About the same thing. I think I used just 1176. I'm using the same M Saturator MB here. I'm using M Dynamics. I don't know why I did this afterwards. I'm using a slightly higher attack time. Maybe there's some reason I don't remember now, but that's what I did. Then I have another M Turbo Comp, the LA2A. There's lots of compression on here. And then I'll use a double tracker on here just to give it a little bit more space.
We yearn to hear the unseen scars, where technology made us whole.
This just gives it a little bit more width. It's not doing too much. And then I have the M Turbo EQ. Just doing a little bit there. I gave it a little bit more air at 12.5K, at 2 decibels. That's about it. And I cut alpha a little bit at 300 hertz. I really didn't need to do that. Oh, I also boosted 3000 hertz. This one I could have changed that. I'm doing a little bit of saturation in there too. After that, it's going into the room reverb, that slap delay I showed you on the verse vocal. And then the last one here, I have this delay bus. This delay bus, as I said, it's with the tape delay and it has the ducking. You can really hear it on this one.
We yearn to hear the unseen scars.
So here, while I'm singing, you can barely hear any delay, but as soon as I stop, you hear those repeats coming in. So that's what that's there for. And all that. Oh, I think one more thing is the guitar solo. See that? So I'm just using. Oh wow, use AT1. Yeah, the looper is just for me to help make this preset. I have a gate here. I'm going into a compressor here. I'm going into this snack overdrive. Then I'm going to the same Tulsa amp I used for the clean sound. A little bit of gain. Going into this lead cabinet, and then finally into this tab delay, which is a multi-tap delay. Although I'm actually not doing that much here. I think I only have 500 and the 380 milliseconds. So just a little bit of width. See those spread left and right. Cut down some of the high end, cut down some of the low end, and you're good. From there, I'm just going into the room, so it's not too much there. But all these things in the lead are going into this rhythm section sidechain for the M spectral dynamics, so you should see this cutting those sounds. And that helps keep it on top, although I did have to eventually just raise it slightly, or maybe I had to bring the volume down slightly as it gets back into the chorus. Probably shouldn't have started there. It makes my drums mess up and come in late, but you get the basic idea. So I think that's everything. Tell me if I missed something, or tell me if you want me to go over something in a little bit more detail. But I think I went over everything and how I did this. So if you have something that you don't understand or something that you want me to go into more depth about, please leave it down below. But thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done that already, and check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com. Till next time, see you.